We're basically 780, nearing 800K. I'm the guy behind. There's literally only one thing I have left. It's dropshipping. Nothing worked. Saw Michael Bernstein's channel. I was like, I cannot not try this. The main product is quit everything and put everything away just for organic.
$1.1 million in the last 6 months with organic dropshipping. That's how much my student Bon made. And here's the craziest part. All of this was done part-time while he was taking exams in college. So Bon, how the fuck was that possible?
First of all, it's university.
Well, whatever you guys say.
Where should I start? I mean, it was a lot of balancing my life correctly and being able to manage dropshipping and school at the same time was a challenge initially, but I feel like after you get into the flow of things, you kind of figure your processes out and it just worked out.
Let's go through the whole timeline. Obviously, the numbers you made are extremely high for that short amount. So what was special here?
At the very beginning, I wanted to find job opportunities. I'm already in my 4th year and, about to graduate. And when you're in that position, that's when the stress kicks in, because it's like, I'm not necessarily needing to move out of my parents' house because I'm Asian and we're okay with living with our parents. But it's the idea of like, I'm about to graduate and I don't even know what kind of opportunities I'm about to have in place for me. Just so you guys know, like, I'm in the University of British Columbia and in the solder program, which is their business school. I know for a fact that the kids like me doing marketing coming out, literally like there's nothing for us. Like, you could be the top dropshipper and still like no one cares. Like, the amount of job opportunities in general are just so bland, and like the most you'll probably get is probably the same amount you'll get working behind a counter as a cashier at McDonald's. It's actually crazy. And you're either that or you somehow climbed the ladder. Maybe you came out of like Cornell, Harvard or something and you work for an actual good, crazy firm. And so without that kind of status, like, for example, the university I come out of, like, literally, like, I heard the average salary is like 30, 40K after tax or something. And that's just on the higher end of the average. When I experienced that, obviously it was like scary. Like, there's so much pressure coming out. I want to live the life that I have painted. And I realized that I'm not going to be able to achieve that doing the things I normally do. And so what was I going to do? Well, I looked at the chart and was just like, there's literally only one thing I have left. It's dropshipping, because when I was younger, I tried it out. I ran some Facebook ads and it worked out for me a little bit before, but I had to give up. I was forced to give up because I got banned. And I tried everything to get out of that ban. Like, I bought a Chromebook from Best Buy. I went to a coffee shop to sign up a new account just to be able to get it up, and nothing worked. And then so I was basically like, I got forced out of dropshipping. Like the saying, like, control your controllables. I tried. I literally did everything I could. So when I first saw Mikey's videos and then saw Michael Bernstein's channel, I was like, holy shit, this is a new opportunity to re-enter. And so I was like, screw Facebook ads. Like, I don't need that anymore. Like, this is the new land of opportunity. Basically, when I saw the opportunity, I was like, I cannot not try this. So it's given how hard Mikey works. And I just love the fact that because of the idea of control the controllables and you have full control of your output and how you execute things and everything, I was like, if I did it right, I can. So boom, we're here.
It's insane. Like with dropshipping, for the longest time, there was a luck factor involved. And this is somebody nobody talks about, but it's just true. On Facebook, some accounts are better than other accounts. You test the same exact thing on 2 accounts. One works, one doesn't. It is what it is. There's a luck factor. You actually have full control in an organic business. There's nothing like this. When I saw that, I instantly was like, all right, we have to jump on this ASAP. This is where the direction of this entire program is going to go, because that's something I've never seen in my whole life. This is literally me starting 2018 with dropshipping, where, quote unquote, that was the easy times, right? Even there, I didn't see something like organic. So when you started, how did it go?
The best part was, it's like, there's no need to risk my money too. And so as soon as I started, it was just time. Like, I put aside time, and I go by the words that you say. If my time is worth nothing because I'm making no money, then it's free, basically. It's free. So I put all my free time into it. I quit everything and put everything away just for organic. At the beginning, I was still gymming a little bit time to time, but then I realized like in order to push the volume I had to stop gymming for months. I gained like 20 pounds. It was crazy. First 2 products I tested, one was a dish gun, which was like a soap dish gun for cleaning your pans and stuff. Did not go well. My videos are also absolutely dog water. And then the next thing I tested was like this butter cutter container. It was like a bunch of wires on a container lid where you put a butter on top, a brick of butter, and you just compress it down and it just cuts the butter up into the container for you. And so we did that. None of that worked. And the reason why is because, first of all, the dish gun, it was absolutely trash videos. Someone made it work eventually, but my videos at the time were dog. And then the butter cutter, it was such a basic household product that for it to go viral is one thing. First of all, my videos are bad still, but for it to go viral, it probably wouldn't even convert as well just because it's such a basic product people would find on Amazon. So looking back at it, it was a terrible product. So the third product that I ended up testing, which worked amazing, we took it to 90K eventually, was this. Now, if you've been on TikTok organic for long enough, you've probably seen this, and I'm the guy behind TurboJet X. It's literally just a piece of like some device that looks like it's straight from space and has this cone, and if you like blow at something, like it's like super
I just
powerful.
ruined my fucking hair.
Sorry. So this thing has so much wow factor behind it. Like I can't even show you right now because like, I mean, I could like blow a glass of water and it'll just empty the cup instantly. The wow factor was just so insane. It's like something that like you've never seen before. I've always been a fan of just choosing products with wow factors ever since then. It made me realize like, dude, wow factor is what makes it go viral. And with it, like you can honestly, with the worst videos, push like crazy. But that's when also I started learning how to make better videos. When I started succeeding just because of the product, there was a certain period of time where like my views would kind of not work as well anymore. And then that's when you're able to know that, okay, it's not the product's problem, it's my problem. At the time, I wasn't even in the program. I just got lucky. I started like following like different formats of how other people, so I was already going by this whole replication thing. It ended up working. I just improved based on what other people did and found similarities. And I ended up just going absolutely insane viral. And from there, I was like, I need to join the program because I remember you saying something very specific. You were like, how like you're losing out on money because you could be doing more, but you're not. And I realized like, how much would it really hurt to join the program with the money I make reinvested? There's nothing really better I can put it in. Immediately hopped in. And I remember, I think as soon as I joined, I like overheard that the TurboJet was apparently a bad product. I guess it was actually kind of a shitty product because of how hard it is to film, because I would go and like drive, I think like 30 minutes to like a self car wash just so I can wet my car up and then like dry it. And then like that was one of the selling points, how you can scratchlessly dry your car. And there was all these other different angles, but it just took so much separation in the filming period where like you have to do all these different activities just to get one video out of it. So I could see why it would be a bad product to test, but at the time I didn't know any of this. And so
I think it's a bad product to test for a beginner.
For a beginner, absolutely.
It just depends.
Exactly. Like as an advanced student, you have more time and you have more people that can work for you. You can do it. But as a beginner, there's so many better things I could have been testing. I was wasting my time doing things that like driving 30 minutes just to get to a car wash and then 30 minutes back, right? But I still made it work just because I had the passion. I was like, I had to do this. This could be done. And eventually, you know, the virality just kept repeating itself. Soon enough, I learned that like there's easier ways to go viral. I think Jacob or someone gave me some other formatting. We went from there and I noticed that the product was kind of dying. So I eased off on the gas pedal. It was like time to look for other things. During that period, that's when my like product research skills started getting refined. It was when I was running my sheets with Jacob and like I was giving Jacob my sheets and like nothing was coming back. And I was just going through painful days of product research where I was myself putting on 30 products on the sheet, right? Like nowadays, like it would be a VA doing it. But I remember it was like, I was like, dude, I can't even find 30 products, let alone like put it on a sheet. So eventually keep going down this road and Jacob ends up actually selecting some. I learned a bunch and found out what works and kind of developed the eye of Jacob and just broke down what works and what doesn't. And I came across my second biggest winner. So my first winner, TurboJet, so far it's up to 90K. It's been about 6 months. But the second winner, that one took off, did about 100K in its like first month. The funniest thing was when I was like doing TurboJet at the very beginning, I had a call with Michael. I was like, Michael, do you think that I can make 100K by the end of this year, and it was like September. And then Michael thought I said, when am I going to hit 100K a month? Michael was like, no, there's no.
Your top month was like 20, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's like, no, you're so far away from that.
Yeah.
Looking back, like if I asked that question, yeah, absolutely. But then I was like, no, Michael, like just by the end of this year.
Like total 100K.
Yeah. September, October, November, December, four months. And then so you're like, oh yeah, 100K by the end of this year, no problem. Boom, next month, 100K month. And it was the craziest shit ever. The second product I found, just burner method, scrolling. And
This is, by the way, like that. This is where I love to be proved wrong.
These are the moments where I actually am happy about that.
I wasn't expecting to prove him wrong either. It was
me
genuinely
either.
like I saw a product and it was like, whoa, like I've never seen this before. There's a huge niche of people that I know for a fact would go crazy about this. It had so much wow factor, emotional selling point and everything. It was like perfect timing because like a movie just came out. And then at the same time, there was a certain season of time that was like perfect. And bro, it just took off and I just claimed the top spot of that product. The guy that was doing it originally, my proof of concept was it went viral once. It had like 700K views. The rest of his videos, he had like probably like 50 videos with average like 1K views. So I was like, there's got to be more to this. And so he, I guess, was just making bad content. Looking back, yeah, it was bad content. But at the time, I didn't know. Took the risk, tested it, totally worth it. And boom, like, bro, to the moon.
Oh, insane. And it happened all so quick. What would you say were like the external versus internal factors? Because you said like the product itself was obviously, it was depending on other external factors like a movie or season and things like that. But what do you think did you do right?
The best part was the fact that I found a product that was just literally untapped. Nobody was running it. And that became my favorite thing to do, which was just to be the first or second. And because even like Turbojet, like there was only 2 Chinese like dropshippers, like straight factories making videos. And then there was like one guy who was doing Turbo XL. I give him credit because I, use a lot of his formats and learned a lot from him too. Literally just from that alone, like being the third, fourth guy was already like 90K. Can't imagine what it's like being the first guy to actually do it right and go crazy viral. And at the time, I didn't expect it. But when it worked, I was like, is literally because you talked about it with Mikey in a video one time. You were like, if you were the first one to show an actual working time machine on TikTok, it will go viral, right? And I understood this so much because I run my own firearms channel on TikTok and I made a bunch of TikToks. I was the first person to ever post like ASMR gun videos where like I was like cleaning my guns, and also first one to shoot like these first person perspective, like through the gun sight and stuff, because I knew that I was the first one and it made it work. And then I could also tell that like after I kept on trying to replicate it, I would have to make the video better for it to keep doing virality. So I understood the whole concept already in a way where I knew that coming into this product and stuff like that, it was the same thing. I was the first person to properly show it and it just absolutely took off.
Yeah, I mean, this is all just a lead up to the main product. Right?
Yes.
So what happened with the main one?
So basically that second product to close did 300K so far. And that one started in October. And so the main product is the craziest one. We're basically 780, nearing 800K. I think we started in November. 5 months, 800K. Yeah, absolutely insane. And it's the craziest way I found it too. It was literally like I was just going through my day and I wanted something. It was literally like not possible because it didn't exist on the market. And that right there was like a problem in my life that I realized couldn't find it. So I had to be the first one to make the solution, right?
Again, way more advanced thing. Like this is not something you could have done with the first product. This worked because it was
literally
one.
like keep in mind
there
like,
was a big like lead way up to that.
Yeah, like I kind of earned my way there by just going through all the steps already. Yeah. So by the time I was there, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't have the experience, right? So in a way, like the first 2, 3, 4 products I tested really built my way there. Right there and then I was like, there's an opportunity here in place. This method that I talk about in the program, which is basically doing research beyond the scope that we normally do, which is just the burner method or the AliExpress search and stuff like that. I just made a realization that there's like a hidden method in plain sight, which is just problems in life. And that is literally how most businesses should be starting, isn't it? So that's literally it. I found a problem and I identified a solution. And I found the first and best person that can execute it. And luckily enough for me, the person that could execute it and make the product was the only person that could, because he owns the patent to the technology. And so
Just for context, you're talking about the supplier.
Yeah, the supplier. And so I originally found like prototype design, which I had him send out to me, and I modified it. I literally kind of invented it in a way. I took a base product and I changed it up and I sent it back to the supplier, because it sounds like some nerd shit. But basically we sent it back and he was like, yeah, I can do this. And I was like, okay, good. And this whole time I'm speaking Chinese to the supplier and just making an amazing friendship connection with the guy. He absolutely loved the idea and everything. So I'm like, okay, I promise you, if you do this, like, I actually have a huge feeling about this. Like, it's going to be amazing. There was trust there and everything. We built an amazing connection, and he ended up sending the first sample unit. And keep in mind, he did this all for free. Like, he didn't charge me a penny. He was like, no, for you, my friend, it's free. I'm just like, that's crazy. Starting off already on an amazing foot. And number one, like, thing I loved about this supplier was he wasn't like the other people. He always responded fast. Very responsive. He reaches out to me first, updates me constantly, and is really transparent about everything. Like,
but this is also something you get later on even more after you actually have a bunch of sales and prove to them that you know what you're doing. And I'm sure you also obviously told him about like how much you made with the other products, etc., just so you understand you're actually serious.
No,
and that's
exactly.
that's something you just need to use in your favor in negotiations. This
Leverage.
is like, exactly. Like every single time a complete new beginner student tells me, hey, the supplier after Chinese New Year still didn't fulfill my orders, it's already been like 4 days. Yeah, you're not the priority. It is what it is. Like, a supplier wants to make money at the end of the day. And if there's only you or this guy, the person who makes the supplier more money is going to always get the priority handling. It is what it is. It's reality. You always have to make sure that the supplier understands who he talks to. I've seen so many people literally like not tell the supplier how much money they made, even though they're already made like multiple six figures. And I'm like, bro, what are you even doing?
Exactly.
This guy needs to know you are legit. You need to show him. You did a really good job with that. Obviously, like even like further with like knowing Chinese and becoming an actual friend of it. What would you say? What was the like main strat? Was it just you actually befriending the right guy and you got lucky with the right guy? Did you reach out to like 100 people and that's why you like got lucky and it wasn't luck, or how did it go?
so the thing is, like, there was, like I said, only one person that could do it for the price I was looking for, because they actually owned the technology behind it. I reached out to a bunch of people, but I already knew there was just one guy that could do it. In a way, I knew like that was my one shot. So I put it all in. Like, when I explained myself to him, I pitched my whole life story, and I was like, this is who I am. This is how much I've done. This is my experience. Do you trust me? If you do, let's get it on. We got it working. First sample came in, started filming with it, went viral in a matter of like a week. And I have this thing where it's crazy. I always go viral within like 5 videos I post. Every account. 5th video, like maximum. I've had like 2nd, 3rd, 4th. 5th is like the latest. And then so immediately I was going viral, and bro, the sales were like insane. I remember at the time I was still like glazing my second product. My second product was still my thing. So I was like already happy. But when this like 3rd one came on, I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy. I was like, I don't have enough manpower to take this on. So that's when I started reaching out to Jacob and like, yo, I need creators like right now. And so he started throwing people at me. I ended up teaching my friend how to do it. And
Who was your top creator? Like how much did your creators generally make?
the top creator last month pulled in 30K USD in revenue, and I pay him like 25% commission. So he made $5,000 USD.
Free money. Actual free money.
Yeah. Like he made over 5K USD just making videos.
Yeah, where did you find him?
Through Jacob. So in the program, there's a student that because Jacob like sees all the students, so he sees who's a good fit and stuff like that. So he at the time just said, hey, this guy seems like he's good for you. And it worked out perfectly. And the thing was, like, we're both so thankful for each other,
of course, yeah.
because I'm giving him an opportunity, but at the same time, like, he helps me like get what I need, right?
Yeah.
Like, and in order to scale and stuff, it's so important. And he learned so much. He said, like, ever since he started working with me, it like changed his like perception completely. And like, he had so much success with his own products afterwards too, just because like having the opportunity to like work beside me, and I give him the critiques for my own product that he's doing, he ends up applying it to his own products and it just works out.
For you watching right now, whenever you have the chance to work for somebody who actually is exactly where you want to be, Always do it. Always. Not only you're going to get paid, you also learn a crazy valuable skill and get paid for that, which is the craziest concept ever. And this is what I'm telling people with like a personal brand. For example, Nike, I'm constantly telling them creators can literally work for you for free because you have this personal brand. People recognize you. People want to work with you together. You just offering your time is going to be valuable enough, and then just a percentage is also going to be fine. So no extra cost, no nothing.
And aside from everything else, like something that I always was super curious about is like, how did you meet all the networks to build what you have now? Because I'm like a big fan of like, you know, networking within like the people who actually matter and stuff. And in school they teach us like network, but like, bro, you're like talking to other kids that they don't know shit too. So curious about how you did that.
Well, I think there's a couple of aspects to it. Number one is when you meet a person who has a good network, you're actually able to run through it. Like what you did, for example, with ours, you met all of us. A bunch of people you met were just because I already built it up. Sometimes you don't really have to build up your network, but you can also just join something where you're literally like placed in one, which makes everything much easier. For me, I think it was two things. Number one, like sales actually helped a lot. Like me doing like so much sales stuff was truly helpful in like when I meet somebody, getting them to just be comfortable around me, you know? And before that, I was way more awkward and just felt more weird to meet me in the first like 10-20 minutes, which is the main thing, right? The number one thing I got through the whole mentoring was just this entire crazy network, which is literally impossible to get from anywhere else. And like I have a student, and if I have a problem, I just ask like 20 students, 30 students, hey, do you know anybody for this? And always they know, always, you know. So any problem I usually have is just solved in a matter of like a few hours by somebody just recommending me some guy, some service, somebody, and that's it. Being placed in there is just so valuable. I learned so much through like my top students and the people who made like a bunch of money on Facebook with organic, with like everything. And that's also how I met so many people like outside of dropshipping who also run like really high level businesses. You know, so I think that was the main way. And obviously also like buying programs. And I was also like in a bunch of like masterminds and like coaching programs. And I met a few people with like, nobody probably even knows, but like I started this side podcast thing, which I never promoted anywhere. But it's crazy how many really high level people I've actually met through there, because I am able to text someone, hey, I have this big YouTube channel and basically I want to do a podcast for something else. I'm making this per month, and basically do you want to be part of the podcast? 100% of people replied, and 100% said yes. It was the easiest thing ever. Yeah, I think like personal brand, like just running through other people's networks, and this mentorship program.
Yeah, well, it definitely helped me. There's like a time where I was like begging, like praying, like, yo, I really hope I can get on Facebook ads again. And when organic came around, I was like, forget it. But when I did end up joining the program, I ended up asking, I was like, how can I get unbanned? And you were literally, it was like one contact. Boom, like, I'm back.
Yeah.
I was like, this was a problem that I couldn't solve for like the longest time, like years. That's why I wasn't dropshipping. And then like when I came back, like it wasn't even like the main thing anymore, but he was still able to just boom, like contact.
Again, like Facebook blog is not a crazy concept. Like it's not a new thing that if a Facebook blog would not be overcomable, then dropshipping would actually be dead.
No, everyone gets banned.
Exactly. Everyone experienced a ban in their life, and everyone who made it work after was able to overcome it. So there's definitely a strategy. And just, after meeting enough people, you just know them. But also, you told me that you had like a few friends who also started dropshipping. How did that turn out?
Oh, it was great. Like at first, I had this imposter syndrome where I felt like I wasn't capable of teaching anybody. And I was honestly not too confident in my own ability to teach. This was like before I started teaching anyone. It was quite tough because it wasn't possible to really translate the confidence that I had in the whole organic thing to my friends. That was the hardest part. It was convincing everyone that this is it. And I obviously saw it because coming in from like, years of seeing what dropshipping was, I knew this was the gold mine of opportunities right now. Obviously with friends that have never dropshipped in their lives, it just sounds like a skeptical scheme. It just sounds like I'm trying to sell them on a get rich quick scheme. And in reality, like dropshipping isn't easy. It takes time, it takes effort, and it's hard. And it's hard to translate that and convince people to fully commit their lives to it in a way. And so, but once I started really picking up on the success. It was like the first product was like, okay, maybe you got lucky. Second product's like, okay, maybe you got lucky again. But like by the third one, it was like, okay, this guy knows something that I don't, you know? So that's kind of like when like you prove your point and everyone realizes and it's like, okay, now I need to hop on. But I honestly wished my friends hopped on sooner because I think maybe things would have been different for them too, because there were so many opportunities and there still is more opportunities. It's just that like our lives entirely would probably be even higher if they started sooner. Basically, I ended up just teaching all my friends and I made it so that they learned how to pick up the skills really quickly because I was literally sitting with them like the whole time. Like I spent like way more time than the average student would normally get being taught. Like I was always like watching over them. I was there like what's it called, accountability coach and everything. I was just, and obviously all for free. Like these are my homies. Like these are the people that deserve it because they've been like with me at all times, ups and downs. And so I sat there and I even like when they didn't want to do it anymore, I had to pull them back into reality. I was like, you need to come back. And so there were so many times where people wanted to give up and stuff like that. But eventually some people found success. Like one of my friends did a 5K day recently and it's been like a couple $100 each day and it slowly is trickling in and out and depends on the virality of the day. But it's safe to say like just being able to spend time with your own friends and when we're all talking about the same thing, we all have the same passion, it's just so easy to like have them learn. And so it became basically their lives and they enjoy it just as much as I do now. I was always telling them like one day you're going to see the views and you're going to get that like dopamine rush. You're going to see the notifications on your phone, the Shopify sounds, the ching, ching, ching. And I was like, you're going to feel it. Trust me. And it ended up happening. And they were like, holy shit, this is like a drug that I've never fucking seen before. Money is a drug and it's absolutely insane. So they crushed it and they continue to learn. Every day I teach a little bit and yeah.
I was teaching for you generally, like obviously like you also got like inside of the teaching aspect in our program and you helped the beginners and also advanced people in the program. How is that generally? Like what did you learn from that?
The first thing, the craziest thing I learned like right away was that I had imposter syndrome like to the next level. Like I genuinely thought that like I wasn't shit. And then when I started teaching, I made the quickest realization that I was like, wait, I actually know so much more than everyone. I was like, how is that possible? And I asked Jacob, I was like, I thought like I wasn't shit. Like why do I know so much? And he explained it to me in a way where it's like, oh, I completely get it. It's like when you find success, it speeds up your learning process so much. Yeah. Because, for example, it's like one thing to be taught how to dropship through a video, and it's a complete other thing to actually go through the process for yourself, for your own store, for your brand, and be able to be walked through that entire thing and memorize it because you did it. You did it for yourself. You didn't just watch it. I realized like that actually taught me so fast in a way where I couldn't even comprehend it. Like I looked back and I started teaching the people in the program and I was like, whoa, like I didn't know I knew so much. So yeah, it's great because teaching in the program allows me to learn even more because whenever students have trouble and like things go wrong, usually another student, like you said, another contact would have solved it. And I talk about this all the time. Anytime, like the coolest thing is like knowing all the problems and knowing all the solutions. Yeah. In video games, they call it wall hacks. It's like literally you see everything.
You're like on top of the matrix. You just have the overview of everything.
It's like 4D.
Exactly.
4D. And then, yeah.
Every person who does that, their learning curve also increases so much, so fast that it's not comparable to anything else. And that's kind of like the flywheel we created with like if the top students teach the newer ones, everything just gets better so much faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's actually talk about email marketing. That's actually a pretty interesting thing we just like implemented recently in your business. How did that go?
Email marketing is so slept on and I had no idea it was like that important. And so one day, someone in the program, I forgot who it was. I think it was a student. Like I got called out. Like it was like funny. It was like, it's like, yo, do you do email marketing? I was like, I mean, yeah, I like set up Clivio and like I have these like 2 abandoned cart emails. Yeah. And then they're like, bro, you need to find someone to do it for you. Either do it yourself or find someone to do it. So obviously I'm asking Michael, you got an email guy. Craziest like shift ever. Like I've always like tried so hard to optimize my own store in all these intricate ways, but like the last thing I expected was email marketing to like be so crazy and the conversion rate increase. Not only was I getting hella returning customers because I was releasing new products, but also like just the increase in retention of the abandoned carts were crazy.
Yeah.
All it took was one guy. It took literally $1,500, 1 week process. Boom. My sales went up by like 20%.
Easy. And this is something which is just like such a small, quick fix. But we went through 50 contacts. This is like, there are so many email agencies which suck. They are so bad. And the email thing actually needs to be really good. And this guy is a killer. He's so good.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like good and fast and everything. Like, this is just perfect guy. I think what he just did is just understanding the niche really well and understanding the target audience. And every time he does it for anybody, he just gets it. He actually understands it. And this is one of these like smaller split tests which you just do and then it works out right away. And I think you improved on that, on being less stingy and just paying somebody to do something instead of fucking doing everything yourself and being greedy about every single cent you make.
So at the beginning, when I first met Michael, it was the biggest joke because I was literally the most stingy person in the world, making 100K. And I was like saving money like I was broke. Because to be honest, it's all because I came from a spot where I once made a lot of money before. In the past, I made like about 30K profit on Facebook ads once and I lost it all because I was just very terrible with my finance. Like just no control whatsoever. I mean, like think about it. 17-year-old just got his driver's license, put it all into a car, and then the rest had like maybe 10, 15 left, 10K into like shit fucking crypto investments at the time, which I should have just bought Bitcoin and held it until now, because at the time it was like 20, 30K, and now it's like 90 or some shit. But boom, like just basically learned my lesson, and that's why with Michael, I was like super stingy. Every time Michael's like, yo, spend more money. I was like,
it was the funniest thing. Like you were like asking you about like, I don't know, should I pay Starbucks in installments? It was the wildest thing. Like every small thing you were buying, you're like, Michael, can I actually afford this? Do you think this is fine, or should I do a payment? Bro, just like whatever. You're rich.
And I was like being so like fucking stupid with the whole program thing too. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if it's worth it. Bro, looking back, it was fucking priceless. Like if I look back, like it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like if Michael like put the program cost at like 50K, I would have still paid for it looking back now, because knowing that what it would have became now, like it wouldn't have happened without like people like Michael and Jacob. Like,
yeah, and I think now in retrospect you get it. And these are things which you need to think back on, because the email marketing guy, think about this. If you buy 10 services and only one increases your thing for 20%, it was hyper profitable. You lost money on 10, you 9, one was profitable. Buy everything. That's my point. Like buy all the services. Generally, you should overspend to find the perfect thing. And we saw that with like, there's very expensive services to increase your conversion rates, for example, like 5K a month, like pretty expensive things, which are just worth it, because conversion rate is directly impacting your sales. You know, and at some point you just need to understand that cost of losing something is always so much lower than the money you leave on the table. And that's something I learned, like after making 100K a month, things become actually cheap. 10% is already 10K.
Yeah.
And nothing costs 10K a month. Yeah. And all these services, all of them are cheaper than 10K a month. So just a 10% increase, which is very doable with a lot of things, it's just worth it.
If you like put a 1,500 like price tag next to like an email marketing thing in my face in the beginning, I would have been like, bro, are you crazy?
It's just like just a text. Why don't I just write it myself?
Yeah, exactly. Like it would have been like that. But now like in my
ChatGPT.
No, literally. But like now it's like if you offer me the same thing, I'm just like, is it that cheap? What the fuck?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely worth it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I remember you told me like that Mikey inspired the whole thing,
dude.
Right? Tell me about that.
Can Mikey come say hi really quickly?
Come in.
Basically, if it wasn't for Mikey, I wouldn't be here. So I kind of owe this guy my whole life.
Where's my 10K, bro?
Right here.
Right? Still being stingy.
So basically, it all started when I was just literally looking on my YouTube like For You page at the time. There was literally, I wasn't looking into dropshipping or anything, but I think it's my history of just having to, I always constantly watch business videos. So one day it was like Mikey's like super organic video of him just journey to like whatever dollar amount. And like I watched his whole channel like 3-4 times at least. And I was like truly inspired. I was like, bro, there's a guy that literally had no experience, and literally just put a full year into it and made it work. I was like, why can't I do it myself?
Yeah, and I think he does such a good job with like explaining everything on camera that you actually feel how it went,
He
and just
makes-
being transparent about like
Yes.
the downs and the ups and the constant downs, which he was always facing. And this is why people believe everything else is a scam.
Yes, because like the most convincing part was the fact that he showed his errors.
Exactly.
And like everyone in the e-com space just shows their fucks and the bans and stuff like, bro, the amount of like errors that he made and all the just shitty experiences with the bans and shit, all the blocks, it literally put me in like his chair, and I was like, whoa, like this guy went through what I did, but except he did it differently. He just kept going. I gave up. So I was like, and what he did was like, he stuck to organic. So I was like, there's an opportunity here. And I was like, this guy is onto something. And so when I kept watching his videos over and over again, I noticed all it took was persistency, the right guidance, and long enough time.
The case study of Mikey again, which we were able to create, is the most obvious thing in the world. Like the guy who's going to make Mikey again money is going to make a shit ton of money from that. Obviously, right? The question is, why didn't anybody take that opportunity? Honest answer is that it's actually difficult to get one guy to become successful. It's not that difficult to just have a successful student, because you have 100 students, 3 of them are successful. You post 3, you look like the big G, right? But this is not how it works with a journey channel. We had to make sure that he actually succeeds, and if he wouldn't, he would have posted it as well.
Bro's whole career was basically online.
Done.
He
Like
all in on fucking
just
black.
look at Mikey's literally, yeah. No, all in on black. So
Literally.
now it's on yellow. So the whole thing was impossible to fail.
Yeah.
And I was pretty sure, I was pretty confident that we're going to make it work, because he was just actually so persistent. Exactly what you said. Like these 3 things are the only things which take, like what it takes: time, persistency, and guidance.
Yeah.
That's it. Like you don't need to be this 144 IQ guy. Every regular guy is also gonna make it work. This is not something which is a prerequisite, and there's no talent needed to make things work if you're actually putting in the work and actually use a good strategy. That is it. So if you think you can put in the time and also the consistency into this business model, you can click the link below, sign up for a call, and we see if it's a good fit. This is not a get rich quick thing. It's truly something which is only going to work if you execute. And I'm going to tell you right now, the whole thing is going to be one-on-one with like me, Bond, like a bunch of coaches we have, and you're going to be able to schedule calls with us. We're going to notice within a couple of weeks if you're actually going to make it work or not. There's a big percentage of people who show up to the call, we tell them what to do, then they show up to the next call and they didn't do it. And it's like, all right, cool. You're not that guy. So ask yourself that question. Are you going to be able to execute on things we tell you? And if the answer is yes, go ahead, sign up, and we'll see you soon.